thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes.
Millionaire.
I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, man, we're gonna go into all this. So the big topic and the big story right now is all the fraud that's being caught in Minnesota and elsewhere also. We're gonna go and tap in with Brian Maxwell. Before that, we're gonna tap in with HannibalIs Hungry on YouTube, because I wanna play this because he plays some clips from the guy Hassan Piker. I've seen him before. This dude is just another delusional, I guess. I don't even know what to call him, a Democrat, I guess. But this dude pushes so much garbage. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of these people who push this ideology of everything free and all these illegal immigrants just need a place to live, and we should feel bad for Trump deporting illegal immigrants and so much more, bro. It's just a lot of garbage. And then they scream about capitalism all the time, but yet these same people take advantage of capitalism on a regular basis and are getting filthy rich doing so. A guy like Hassan Piker guarantee has a mansion somewhere in a beautiful gated community somewhere, but yet he pushes this garbage and his ideology to his fan base as if he's for the people. Bro, these people are just straight lunatics, bro. And also, before all of that, we're gonna play a segment from Fox. Um, and it's basically going to just get into what the show is about for today, man. So before we start, man, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. Let's get straight into it.
Homeland Security agents are descending on the state of Minnesota, all in response to a sweeping fraud scheme. Here's Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons.
What we're seeing is there's always a tide when it comes to sanctuary jurisdictions where you can hide in plain sight. You see a lot of these fraudsters use a lot of the sanctuary rules and sanctuary protections to, enact criminal fraud just like this. When Homeland Security Investigations goes into these businesses, there is criminal activity when it comes to labor trafficking, child trafficking, human exploitation, and that's what we're looking at up there in Minnesota.
And this is the story everybody's talking about right now. For more on this, we are joined by CBP Senior Advisor Ron Vitiello. Ron, good morning to you. Great to see you.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. So some Republicans are pushing the idea that any Somalis who are convicted of defrauding American taxpayers as part of this scheme should have their legal status revoked, even their U.S. citizenship stripped away. Here's Republican Congressman from Minnesota, Tom Emmer. He says, quote, "I have 3 words regarding Somalis who have committed fraud against American taxpayers. Send them home. If they're here illegally, deport them immediately. If they're naturalized citizens, revoke their citizenship and deport them quickly after. If we need to change the law to do that, I will." Ron, as you are well aware, denaturalization is a pretty rare process. It's also very tedious. Should it be on the table here?
Absolutely. That's the way the law works. If you defraud the government, and obviously there's a lot of fraud going on in Minnesota in this case, the U.S. attorney is talking about up to $9 billion. The federal government sends Minnesota $26 billion every year. That's about a third of their budget, and they certainly weren't watching what was happening. And so if these people are involved in fraud to get that money and send it all over the world to keep it for themselves, they may have lied on their citizenship applications. They might have lied on how they came into the country, et cetera, what benefits they exposed themselves to on the immigration side. And if they lied about that, then they could be removed if they're in the country as immigrants.
Yo, just think about, bro, it's real homelessness, right? And they'll blame it on the government and all these type of things. Homelessness is mainly rooted in people who just give up, or mainly from people that are, on drugs. That's just what it is. But it's a choice either way you look at it. But this money that's being defrauded from the government could be going to rehab centers. It could be going to so much more, dog. Like so much more, bro. You got, veterans who need assistance and help. They dealing with PTSD and all types of stuff. But just think about all of this fraud that's going on, bro. Not even just in Minnesota, bro. This is everywhere. And just imagine if Kamala Harris would have been the president of the United States of America, none of this stuff would have been exposed. If Elon Musk didn't buy fucking X, none of this stuff would be exposed because all they did was seal it up, put a lid on it, and hide it from everybody. But you got real people out here doing the real work, like N.G.L.A, who was on the ground, uh, you know, reporting on these important stories that everybody needs to know, bro. And Trump ran on this. Trump ran on draining the swamp, you know, getting rid of the fraud, waste, and abuse in the government. And so many different presidents before him said these things, made these claims. And even like people like Nancy Pelosi, I've heard Hillary Clinton talk about these things. So they know that this was a problem that's been going on for who knows how long, bro. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand, bro, it's a lot of people that's in these positions that don't know how to handle money. And they look at it like a clear opportunity. They listen, bro, it's smart people that's in the government. You know what I mean? And they're all in there, they're all in cahoots. There's so much stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And these people know how to do these workarounds to create these types of big scheme. Just think billions, bro. Billions of dollars are being defrauded from the government on a daily basis in America. And the fact that these politicians act as if it's not going on, try to downplay it, and we'll get into that. But that's what they got the legacy media for. And this is why I don't fuck with the media, because it's a clown show. All of this stuff is coming out. You listen, Nick Shirley was on the ground. You seen it with your own eyes. You seen it with your own eyes. This wasn't some, you know, hit piece that they just put. No, they was on the ground showing you daycares had no children in them. They was showing you, these medical so-called uh uh you know healthcare facilities that's what you're supposed to be able to get the best rate at, and showing you how it's all fraud, bro. It's all fraud, bro. They got this shit on camera so much that we'll get into that.
And if they're citizens and they lied on those in that process,
These people
they
should be
could be
deported, though.
denaturalized.
And there are some media outlets who are kind of pushing back on this DHS crackdown in the state of Minnesota, essentially saying this is all about demonizing immigrants and Somalis. Take a listen.
The other part of this is an attempt to make this about Somalis in general, as opposed to just about the people who are responsible. It's not really about the fraud.
This is absolutely an attack on the Somali community and on immigrants writ large. The vast majority of the Somali residents of Minnesota are citizens. They're not new immigrants. So this is just a further example of the Trump White House doing everything they can to vilify immigrants.
But I mean, Ron, you look at the numbers. There have been 92 people charged in this fraud scheme in Minnesota.
And
82 of them have been Somalis. Facts are facts. The overwhelming majority of the people committing these crimes are foreigners who have come here to take advantage.
So my whole thing is, what are you supposed to say? Who are you supposed to say they are? If 95% of the people that has been caught in this whole fraud scheme, which I believe is probably more, to be honest with you, but this is just people that's been exposed already. If 95% of them are Somalian, then it's a Somalian problem. Period. No matter how you try to look at it, bro. And don't try to act like, bro. It's just like when it comes to scamming, right? All these fucking phone call scammers and, scamming old people and shit. A lot of the motherfuckers be coming from India and shit. Don't act like it's not certain cultures who, do these elaborate schemes and shit and be scamming people. Come on, stop it.
Of the American taxpayer. Give us your thoughts.
Well, 100%. We had an administration with Joe Biden that was encouraging people to come in the United States. Apparently, they're encouraging people to come to Minnesota and steal taxpayers' money that's designed to help that very community. This is a crime that happened in a place, and that crime was conducted by certain people that are in the United States. They happen to be from Somalia, and so they're the ones that are going to be prosecuted and removed. And so the left that wants to run to the microphone and protect people who are in the country illegally, who have committed crimes and have defrauded Americans, they don't deserve our respect.
And I do want to ask you about another topic. Brand new report out regarding ICE arrests essentially says that new data shows that 70% of ICE arrests in 2025 were convicted criminals or people with pending charges. This from the Washington Examiner essentially says that in 2025, ICE arrested 595,000 illegal immigrants. And according to DHS data, 70% of them, about 416,000, have criminal convictions or pending criminal charges. Ron, got about 30 seconds left here. Democrats and activists have repeatedly said that ICE is not targeting criminals, but the data
And they
says
sweeping
otherwise.
up Americans.
Yeah, the facts are here, right? We've heard Tom Homan say this. We've heard the secretary and her leadership say this is what's going on. We're going after the worst of the worst. They're going after the worst of the worst. ICE is putting up record numbers on the board. Over almost 2 million people have decided to leave the country because they're here illegally. The policies are working. The front line is empowered to do a great job for America, and we're making America safe as we speak. The border's been locked down for the last year almost.
All right, got to leave it.
And the whole thing is to make it to where these people don't want to come here. And if you take this shit off the table, bro. Let me pull this video up. If you take all of these incentives, and I seen this joint with who was that? Larry Larry
Just took a sharp.
my bad. Pull this video up. It was Larry Elder. He was actually years ago. He had a joint with Hassan Piker actually, and he was bringing up the facts that if you don't incentivize people to come here, of course everybody's going to come here. If you're giving out free housing, free Medicaid, free everything, of course they're going to come here. Who wouldn't? Of course. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, bro, it's not America's problems that you have foreign governments who aren't taking care of their people. It's not an American problem. That's a foreign country's problem. And you got countries that's smartening up and actually doing for their people and building something great in these countries. But at the end of the day, that's not an American problem. Why is that our problem? We got our own issues, our own problem. We need to lower our taxes. We need, I was just talking about this yesterday. Like, we have a major problem with taxes, bro. It's out of control how much taxes we pay in America. And then to know that your tax money isn't going to, like every, bro, I'm from Camden, New Jersey, bro. Bro, these streets is terrible, bro. The fact that for decades these streets have been terrible is crazy to me. Like, where's the money going? You know what I'm saying? It's going to all of these nicer neighborhoods, building them up. That's all this is the whole game. You know what I mean? And that's the sad part. It's that all this money, just think about these billions of dollars that just basically just disappeared and we'll never see it again. But what that could have did for a lot of communities around the country, bro. And that's the thing, bro. They're just mad. I'll keep saying this and I'm gonna keep saying it. They're mad because Trump turned the spigot off. That's why they're mad, bro. They're mad. Their whole scheme, their whole game plan, he came and wrecked it. That's what they're mad at. You think they don't think Trump is really a racist. They don't care. They just will use any narrative that they can to try to tarnish his image and and win these elections so they can get back in power. And just think about it. Like I said, if Trump didn't get elected, none of these things would have been exposed. And these things would have continued for another 4 years. And then who knows what would happen in 2028 if a Republican will get in there that actually gave a fuck. because it's not even just Republican or Democrats. It's whether this person is going to actually do what they said they're going to do. Trump campaigned on getting rid of the fraud, waste, and abuse in the government. It's not a secret. You go back and watch any of his rallies that he had. He said all the same shit that he's doing now. He said then, and that's what you want in the president that you vote for. Period. You know, they want to get into all of these extra curricular activities. You know, listen, bro, what are they doing? And this is why Pam Bondi is on the hot seat. Pam Bondi is on the hot seat right now because, you know, people aren't getting locked up for this shit, bro. And people need to be held accountable for what's going on, bro. Period. Like real leaders like Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar and stuff like that. Like not just the small fish, you know, the big fish need to be held accountable too, because this is how things stop happening and things really get cleaned up. But who knows what really happened? But I just think I think Pam Bondi ain't the one for the job, bro. I believe Matt Gaetz would have did a way better job. People would really right now probably be in jail already if Matt Gaetz would have got that position. They didn't. This is why they didn't want Matt Gaetz to get that position, because I've seen Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz is that nigga exposes everything. He don't care. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, let's get into this next joint.
Only Americans who's concerned with the Somali business is the ones who have no life. They have a lot of time in their hand. They broke. They don't have no money, no ambition, nothing. They don't even have hobbies. They depressed. They lonely.
So you mean to tell me you went all the way to Minnesota just to pocket watch? And then on top of that, put out misinformation. But I'm sick and tired of them, bro. They stay hating on us, but for what, bro? Like, leave us alone.
People you will see who's worrying about this is not even racist. They just broke. They just don't have anything going on. They broke.
So this story just took a sharp turn. The massive fraud story starts blowing up. Millions of dollars in taxpayer money being stolen allegedly, daycare centers, no kids, actual state violations. And instead of talking about the fraud, one of the biggest streamers on the internet decided to go after the guy.
This is what they mad at. They mad that it's getting exposed, bro. They're mad, bro. They mad at the Orange Man. Orange Man bad. He exposing everything. And yo, bro, I'm telling you, bro, these people do not give a fuck about you, bro. If you really look, bro, and really think about shit, you know, I hit my mans the other day, and I'm like, dog, I don't even want to have this type of conversation with you no more. Because you so off the Richter scale, bro. You want to talk about, like, shit that just ain't on this planet. And I don't got time for it. You know what I mean? And he was saying, like, yo, you ain't heard, like, all the immigrants that they locking up, they shooting and killing them. I'm like, what? I'm just like, dog, all right, bro. Like every conversation I have with this dude, it's my man's. I love him, but he always takes the conversation so off the Richter. Like it's just like, all right, bro, okay. They're gonna risk everything that they got going on in the administration by killing a couple illegal immigrants that they could just literally ship over the border. All right, bro. My bad.
Investigating it, not questioning the documents or the violations or questioning where the money went. No, he's just questioning why someone would even look. And you see it from here, this tweet from Hassan. I don't know what kind of fraud Somalis and daycares are doing, but I think it's a separate crime to try to storm with a camera into a daycare with kids in it. He doesn't know what kind of fraud is going on. Maybe he should, like, I don't know, research it. He does spend hours streaming, talking about politics. Maybe he should do some kind of research. And we're going to talk about this situation.
Hey, yo, you notice like all of these people that stream on a daily basis that I've noticed that have TDS that just like hate Trump so much. It's not even about right or wrong, good or bad. Like everybody knows, Democrat or Republican, that the government is entirely too large and it's a lot of fraud going on with inside of the government. But you'll still have people defending Democrats no matter what. It doesn't matter. The same things that they accuse Donald Trump of. The moment that it gets exposed that no, actually Democrats are doing this and Democrats are being exposed for this and they actually have receipts versus just, you know, you know, speculation, then they get mad. But I noticed one thing about all of these people is that they all, they probably have a degree in something. They all talk like as if they know everything and that you're stupid and that they're better than you. Like when you hear these people speak, you know, they just think they know every single thing, you know, but they're narcissists, bro. This dude, Hassan Piker, is everything that he claims to actually care about. Oh, capitalism is hurting us. It's the worst thing ever, but he's a capitalist himself. He probably got a fucking $500,000 car, live in a mansion, and he did it off of what? Capitalism. These people are jokes, bro. It's just like fucking vegans and shit. You know, like, bro, do you know, like, the process of being a vegan is, people are just hypocrites, bro. My bad.
And as you see in the video I just showed you earlier, there's a lot of people who are upset about this. There's people who
You
don't
hating on
want
me,
this to
bro.
be investigated.
So what if we're
So we're going to talk about
scamming
that
you,
and
Americans?
more in this video today. Let's get into
We
it.
wanna
Before we even
keep
get into N.G.L.A, we
scamming you.
need some more context with this. A streamer here by the name of Hassan. He is one of the biggest political streamers on the internet. He goes on Twitch, millions of followers, huge influence. I think he's also a friend of my, I guess, future mayor, Zohan Mandami. So he brands himself as an anti-capitalist, eat the rich, anti-corporate, anti-establishment. But here's the contradiction. Hassan lives extremely well. He lives in a luxury home, expensive cars, high-end lifestyle funded by the same capitalist system that he criticizes. That alone wouldn't matter.
By the same people that he manipulates on a regular basis with the garbage, right? He goes right out. He takes all your money and then go buys all these luxury items. And then he'll go and print up t-shirts that say tax the rich, and then he makes millions off of it because you're stupid.
But it becomes important when he lectures
We're
others about
supporting
morality,
the
power,
fight.
and accountability. Hassan has a long track record of downplaying or reframing certain crimes, especially when those crimes don't fit neatly into his political worldview. He has been criticized
at
for
what he does.
minimizing riots and property crime, treating enforcement as the bigger problem than the offense, attacking investigators instead of engaging the evidence. He also been surrounded by controversies for years. Old comments about 9/11 still resurface.
And so here we are. I'm living up to what I said about conservatives and progressives. We're having a conversation. So you said America deserved 9/11. Did you mean that?
Yeah.
Foreign policy takes that critics say echo propaganda talking points and repeated allegations that he relies on his ideology first and the facts second. Also, there's some viral clips about how he handles his dog using shock collars and then pretending that he didn't. So there's a lot of issues. I think at this point, Hassan is getting into low-cal territory where people make fun of him even when he is out in the field. So it's interesting that he decided to go after N.G.L.A on this situation. And let's break down the tweet and actually hit some of the responses. So N.G.L.A actually had a response for that tweet right there. People like this commie literally shock their dogs and complain about America 24/7. And when someone actually leaves their room to do something, wait for it, they defend the criminals. There's times where he was able to show, even with no camera crew, anyone around him, by wearing the Ray-Ban Meta glasses that have a camera in it, that there were no kids. N.G.L.A wasn't storming into daycares. He wasn't filming kids because, first of all, there weren't any children. And he wasn't chasing children with a camera. From the footage, you can see in this one right here where he goes and talks about, the idea of, hey, can I check out the facility for my son Joey? I want to enroll him in a daycare. He was alone and he was wearing glasses that had a camera, so there was no camera crew, and he was asking basic questions.
But I'm determined to see this through and to correct what is wrong, what is evil.
Here at Future Leaders Early Learning Center, this building received $3 million.
Guarantee you, any white people that come in this, and that she didn't, because she already know, like, nah, like, we don't got nothing for you, cause he not Muslim and he not Somalian. Guarantee all of their student roles, anybody that fake enrolled in these schools that they set up right for the scam, they're all Muslim and they're all Somalian. Guarantee it, bro. I guarantee it. So they're looking at you like, we never seen your kind around here before. How do you even know about this school?
Over $3 million. Hello.
And I hate this, bro, because I'm Muslim and it makes Muslims look so bad, bro. It blows my shit.
How are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork or can I check out the daycare? No. Why can't I check out the daycare? Okay, but if I can I get paperwork or anything to submit my son little Joey to come in here to daycare? We'd really like to put Joey in this daycare. We've heard great things.
Business card?
No, I would like your business card actually.
You talk to your manager.
Okay, can I speak with somebody? Where are the children at? Are there children here today?
No.
No children.
Yeah.
Why are there no children?
Two of Mexico.
Would my son little Joey have friends to play with here? No. No friends for little Joey.
She don't even know how to go along with the scam. Yo, but look, this is a clear shot at how that these people have been doing this, and it's so normal that she's weirded out that this guy is even actually showing up. She's like, hold on, like we've been doing this scam for 5 years now. Like, what's going on? Like, like this is just regular. This is just a regular day for them. Like, it's got another 2 million this year. Thanks to good old Democrats.
Yes. Sorry.
Dang it. Well, have a great rest of your day. So, little Joey would not.
Like I said, he even says he wants to bring his own child. That request gets denied. So if you pause it right there, if a daycare is funded for dozens of kids and no one is there, that's not creepy to ask questions. That's called due diligence. Anyone who actually has children would check out a daycare with or without their kid present. I've checked out daycares and schools where my son wasn't with me. You don't just drop off your child off blind. Parents should be asking questions. Parents should look around. Parents want proof that the place is real, safe, and is operating. That's not suspicious.
Yo, you know what's crazy, bro, is that why are they acting like this stuff is shocking? It's not, bro. It's simple, bro. America is built off of immigration, bro. So many people came here since since the beginning. But people came here legally. There are people that are legal citizens of the United States of America that came from all parts of the world, right? They learned the language, they paid money, whatever they had to do. I don't know what the process is, but I'm pretty sure it's a process to become a citizen. People did the work and became citizens. We see them make videos all the time about how they're even against illegal immigration. But just, bro, I don't even understand. But this is how delusional. Dang. Keep burping. My bad. This is how delusional Democrats have made Americans, bro. Propaganda is real, bro. Programming is real. It's so, it's insane to me that people really, it doesn't even matter, bro. It's just a fact. Yo, if you switch the roles and Democrats were doing exactly what Donald Trump is doing now, nobody would be bitching and complaining. It's just the fact that Donald Trump is doing it. And we know this why, because Barack Obama deported more illegal immigrants than Donald Trump did. Nobody said nothing. You probably had a few people out there talking about it, but it's not to the national scale that it is now that Donald Trump is doing it. It's fake. It's fake. That's why I say the Democrats get out here and they get, they pay these news reporters and, you got all of these people on YouTube who are just hardcore Democrats or getting paid, because I don't care what nobody says. A lot of these people are getting paid. They got big channels. Hey, we'll give you $20,000. Talk about this, talk about that. And people like Hassan Piker, guarantee it. I guarantee it. This dude is getting paid to say 100% of the shit that he says, bro. I guarantee it. He's getting big checks to do it. He has a big platform, and that's all you have to have. Like, that's all you have to have. If you build a big platform, you will get paid millions and millions of dollars to spew bullshit. Because think about it. What? You gonna pay me what? $10 million to talk about some bullshit? All right, cool. You got people that don't care. Those people that kill their own mothers for money. You think somebody won't just get online and spew a bunch of garbage? You know what I'm saying? Charleston White, he tells you he does it. Bro, it's a persona. I just get on here and I just say whatever. I don't care because he's doing it for the money. People don't care. They'll do anything for money. And hey, bigs up to you. You know what I mean? I can't do that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it's all about, bro. It's all about pushing propaganda to the people. Just really think about it. We have gotten to a point in 2025 where you have to ask somebody what a woman is. I went to a place the other day, they asked me, like 2 weeks ago, they asked me what my gender was. I said, yo, I'm like, what? What is going on? Like, what? I got a beard. Like, what are we talking about? I'm a fucking man. But the fact remains that right now, I live in a Democrat state. This is going on. This is insane to me. I don't care what nobody's, it's insane. We're like, what? What are we talking about? But, bro, they have literally programmed people to the point where you have professionals, not layman people just out about professionals asking me what my gender is. What do I identify? Nick, I identify as a man, a male. What are we talking about? But hey, delusion is real.
That's normal behavior for anyone who has a kid. And this is where Hassan just jumps in with a bunch of weird arguments. It seems like his argument goes like this. I don't know if fraud is happening. I'm not even going to bother to research it, but you can't just go into daycares. Notice what's missing. He doesn't say that the fraud isn't real. He doesn't say that the documents are fake. He doesn't say that the violations didn't happen. And we'll be talking about those violations in just a second. Instead, he reframes it as a children's safety issue. That's emotional cover. But the investigation isn't about kids. Therefore, the fraud question disappears. And that's where this back and forth goes on. Promoted, some Zionist, blah, blah, blah. I mean, a lot of this is a distraction. All that is a distraction because none of these accusations answers the actual question. Is there fraud happening here or not? This reminds me of the Letitia James situation. The issue.
Hold on, he said he made the most Israel video demanding to see children in all these facilities. And when they wouldn't let them in, that was enough evidence of fraud. Bro, of course it's evidence of fraud. If I have a business, if I'm selling hot dogs, and you walk into my store and say, hey, can I get a hot dog with some relish on it? And I say, what are you talking about? Not right now. The manager isn't here. And you're like, but you sell hot dogs. Yes, we sell hot dog. All right, but like, so there's nobody here making hot dogs? Like, what are you talking about? And then you look around, it's like no hot dogs being made. You don't smell nothing. It's just a building. Of course you're going to say, bro, there's some shit going on. Yo, bro, they're just mad that Trump is exposing it, bro. That's all it's about, bro. If Democrats was exposing all of this stuff that was going on, they wouldn't care. They would all be reporting it. Oh, fraud in Minnesota caught. Oh, Biden's DOJ is handling business in America, rooting out all the fraud, waste, and abuse.
She went from, did she actually commit fraud to, well, Trump doesn't like Letitia James, and that's why he's a millionaire. He has the money, he has the platform, he has the time, so why don't he just go there himself? Why not look at the centers? Why not pull the records? Why not spelled Learning Center and the amount of violations they have?
Turns out that the Quality Learning Center, supposed to be the Quality Learning Center, has received 13 violations and has been investigated multiple times just in the last 4 years by the Department of Human.
So in the last 4 years, so that means under Biden, this place has been investigated. But under Biden, this place was investigated and not turned down, even though it says Quality Learning Center. Yo, this shit is crazy. This shit is so, bro. Oh my God.
Services.
Watch where you send your kids to school at, bro.
In Minnesota. And all of this is public record information. Anybody can find it by just typing the address 1411 N.G.L.A Avenue. And immediately I found this public information from the Department of Human Services in Minnesota. This checks out to be the spot. It's a child care center, total capacity 99. And as you guys can see, these are all the list of various violations and investigations of this place. Since May 9th, 2022, they've been investigated and received violations over 13 different times. For things like children did not have daily access to interest areas, areas that are used by children are not in good repair, crib mattresses and/or sheets did not meet the safety requirements. They even got a violation because the program did not report a death, serious injury, fire, or emergency properly. Obviously, the state has been looking into this place for a while, so it makes you question why didn't they notice the amount of fraud there? All it took was N.G.L.A pulling up to the place and seeing that there's no children there to determine that obviously something is wrong here. You have people coming from the state 13 different times in the last 4 years, and they didn't notice this? Obviously, this is something that needs to be looked into to see just how much did state and city officials play a role in all of this fraud.
So this
Oh yeah, you know they did. Come on now. Let's move on to this next joint. It's on the same topic with my guy, the one and only Brian Maxwell. If you're not tapped in, tap in with him. Great channel on YouTube. Hey yo, listen, bro. These people, of course. This is why they're mad, because Trump is fucking it up for them. All of these politicians, of course they're turning a blind eye to it. Of course, like, come on now. Because think about it. Just in that one building that Nick Shirley went to, I was calling him Nicky Shirley too. Nick Shirley went to, they said it was 14 LLCs in that building. It's just one building. That's just one. You have so many of these going on, bro, and not just in Minnesota. I know they're the hot topic right now. I know that they got a bird's eye view on Minnesota right now, of course, but it's going on everywhere, bro, for sure. It's just probably more in these Democratic states, but best believe, bro, this stuff is going on everywhere, man. And just think about, this is my thing with all of this, the illegal immigration, all this fraud that's going on, that's getting caught, cutting departments inside of the government like the Department of Education, the USAID. These things will eventually 5-10 years from now, like, we'll actually see things getting better, because this is a upwards of $18 billion fraud scheme just in Minnesota. So just imagine if this stuff gets cleaned up everywhere, bro. And then you take off the leash that you got on people that want to build homes and things like that, because this is why people don't do a lot of things, and this is why a lot of business went overseas, because it's so tedious as a business owner here to start businesses, because you have these people just trying to milk you for all the cash that they can get. And with all these regulations and things that they put in place, it stops people from building and actually creating, So I think it's so much that needs to be changed, but it's not just one singular thing. It's so many things that need to change in America. But if they do, in 10 years from now, bro, we could be really looking in good shape. And one of the things that Trump talked about was getting rid of income tax altogether. That would be great for the American people. That would be great for people, American hardworking people. Like, if you did not have to pay income tax at all, and we shouldn't, bro. There's so many things that need to change, and if they do, bro, shit'll really look good, bro. And the fact of the matter is, they don't want Trump being the one to be doing these things, bro, because they know listen, Trump gets all of this fraud and stuff handled. People start going to jail. People say, people start getting more money put in their pockets, with this one big beautiful bill passing. Democrats gonna have a hard time getting back in power. I'm just saying. And that's what they're afraid of. And that's the scary part, because we've seen these people will do anything, and I mean anything, to get back in power. That's a fact.
This idea that nothing is being done, that no one is being held accountable, that
not
this was
Abby.
just let to run rampant.
She is another token nigga that they tout out there who's got an educational background. She went to college. She went to the best, the finest, probably Harvard or Stanford or something like that. But she's just another token nigga that they put out there look at our black sister. She's so intelligent. She's a fucking moron.
That is completely false.
Well, some people have been held accountable, but I think in the opinion of most Republicans, not nearly enough. And truthfully, until somebody in a position of power, until somebody in a position in Minnesota, elected position, who was in charge of administering this or having some oversight over it, goes to jail, it's honestly never going to stop. Look what's going on in blue states across the country. $9 billion in Minnesota, $70 billion in fraud in California, cooking the crime stats in Washington, D.C. When is someone in a position of power going to go to jail for the rampant fraud?
Hold on a second.
You can put all the low-level people in jail you want, but until somebody in charge goes to jail, it won't stop.
All right, now, as you just heard in that initial clip, Abby Phillips, who is the most...
Abby Phillips gets on my fucking nerves, bro. because they don't want the truth. They don't want to put out the truth. These people get memos, they get emails. Hey, this is the discussion for today. I need you to put this out there. Because remember, it's not about truth. They can say all they want. Oh, these Republicans are putting out misinformation. Bro, the facts will always be the facts. And if you're smart, you could just look at the facts. I mean, these are the same people who push the Find People hoax. Like, come on, what are we talking about, bro? Like, literally pushed the Find People hoax, saying that Donald Trump basically condoned and said that white supremacists and them were fine people. I'm talking about all the way up to when Joe Biden had the debate with Donald Trump. They were saying this, even though it's been debunked. Like, debunked. Like, all you had to do was just go watch the actual speech that Donald Trump gave. I can't, that's why I can't get with these people.
Annoying person on television. I don't even know how this woman has a show. And if you know something, her, Joy Reid, a lot of these other psychopath female hosts out there on CNN and MSDNC, they're all like Ivy League graduates from like Harvards and Cornells and schools like that. But they lack common sense in a way that's unreal. Now, in this video, the reason why I wanted to bring you this because it's on. People have been saying they want to see the Trump administration and immigration kick up. They want to see more people out. They want to see more investigations, more people going to jail. Well, let me tell you, this Somali thing out of Minnesota and Ilhan Omar running her mouth and talking crazy to President Trump has lit a fire up under them because there is a massive surge and crackdown in Minnesota. And if you notice something, the lamestream media is not covering this the way that they need to. I wonder why. You got $9 billion worth of fraud, at minimum $9 billion in Minnesota. The state audit in California just exposed $70 billion with a B fraud in California, which is why they're trying to do wealth taxes to close the gap. When all that's going to happen is the wealthy people going to leave and they're going to tax the crap out of the poor people in the area. You got Chicago, 1.4 or 1.6 billion dollars in debt. You got DC, where they were cooking the crime books out there, like you heard Scott Jennings say. This is nuts. And so now the administration, it just doesn't have enough people and enough tentacles to go out and get it in like they need to. But
hey, yo, ain't it crazy that they fucked the money up? They allow all these illegal immigrants to come in the country, and all these Democrat states became sanctuary states for these illegal immigrants to come in droves, and they were going to take care of them and give them Medicare and all of this stuff, right? And now, years later, unsustainable, in all of these Democrat cities like Chicago, California, New York City are all in debt. Crazy. It's not a surplus. I'll tell you that much. Listen, these now they want to do what? They want to put it on you. Now they want to come for your money. But they disguise it as we want to put a tax on the rich. Bro, these people are going to leave. They don't need to stay in your city. Like, it's just common sense, bro. It's going on right now in Chicago, bro.
Right now in Minnesota, on the heels of that video.
You think you're going to force these, these millionaire and billionaires who invent, who hire people, who give people jobs and opportunity and actually create something, are going to let a person like Brandon Johnson, who's a school teacher, who never owned anything, created anything, innovated nothing, tell them what they're going to pay when they already pay enormous amounts of tax? Yo, in California, they're talking about 5% of your I don't even think it's like your annual income. No, it's like the totality of your whole shit or some shit. They said it was like some crazy shit. 5% of everything you own or earn or something. I forget what they said, but it was like a crazy amount. Like, what? What are you talking about? Just think about that, bro.
Video that came
Like
out
all this
by
money for
investigative journalist Nick Shirley, where he ran around to different daycares in Minnesota and found out that there was no children in the daycares at all. And his videos, which got upwards of like 80 million, 90 million views, I don't know if it embarrassed the DOJ, which it should have, but all I know is President Trump said there's no way an investigative journalist is out here doing the job that y'all should be doing and bringing these people to account. So I want you to see. So as you see right here, and I went to ABC on purpose. one of these left-wing outlets to see how they put it. Surge in federal officers in Minnesota focuses on alleged fraud at daycare centers. That's not all they're focusing on. They're focusing on all the fraud as a whole.
That's what they do.
Now, check out this report as to what's going on in Minnesota, because now at daycare centers, that's not all they're focusing on. They're focusing on all the fraud as a whole. Now,
but you see how they word it. Look, surge in, surge in federal offices in Minnesota focuses on alleged fraud at daycare centers. Like you see, like what are you talking about, bro? This is already came out. Like you have actual people in leadership positions in Minnesota who are exposing this shit. Who said this has been happening? These people, you just seen from the last video, the guy said that these people have been damn, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. That these people have been audited already and been fined or whatever the case may be. So these people have already been on the radars of the state already.
check out this report.
That's why you can't trust
as to what's going on in Minnesota, because when I say they're not playing, they're not playing. So I'm gonna show you this one, but then they're going in with extra additives that they usually, when ICE and when immigration goes in, they crack down. There's one thing that they typically don't go with, which every blue state and every blue city tries to hold them accountable for not having. Wait till you hear and see that. But check out this first clip about what's going on in Minnesota. And then wait till you hear how they did the voter fraud. That's going to come up after this clip too. But check this one out.
Crackdown in Minnesota over potential fraud is ramping up on multiple fronts now. Not only do you have DHS and FBI agents on the ground, but the Small Business Administration is now halting all federal funding to the state after identifying $430 million in PPP loans in Minnesota that are suspected of fraud. As we've been reporting, these concerns over fraud, particularly in the childcare space in Minneapolis, go back more than a decade, including these surveillance videos that were part of a case prosecuted by Hennepin County back in 2015. The video shows parents checking their kids into a daycare and then walking back out with them minutes later. Our Minneapolis Fox station reported that sometimes the kids wouldn't even show up, and that either way, the businesses would bill the state for a full day of services. This other video shows parents then allegedly receiving envelopes of cash as kickbacks from the owners. The state is responding to these latest allegations.
Bro, just think. Hey, yo, they got you on camera, bro. They got you. They got you.
Of fraud at child care centers, claiming that it's already investigated many of the businesses in Nick Shirley's viral video.
So there have been ongoing investigations with several of those centers. None of those investigations uncovered findings of fraud. One of the centers, Quality Learning Center, closed just over a week ago. With several of those centers, none of those investigations uncovered findings of fraud.
So this is a snake, a woman getting out here saying that these businesses have been investigated and there's been no signs of fraud. And the one that said the Quality Learning Center, the one that was spelled wrong, she said, oh, and that one closed about a week. I bet it did close. I bet it did close. And I bet you a lot more of these close real soon. You can't make this shit up, bro. God
One of the centers, Quality Learning Center, closed just over a week ago.
With those claims is that the manager of the Quality Learning Center says they never closed, and they are even open now, and that the state agency was putting out false information.
Do you notice how the word learning is spelled wrong? Ellie is leering. They don't even have the learning center sign spelled right.
All of this is raising more questions about the credibility of the state agencies who are supposed to be overseeing these programs that are now being investigated.
The fundamental problem here is that we have a governor and an administration that has totally broken its trust with the people of Minnesota. So it's very difficult for any Minnesotan, and it's very difficult for us to take at face value anything that the Walz administration says on this topic.
As all of these investigations continue, Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Justice Department has now charged 98 individuals in Minnesota with fraud. 85 of them are Somalis, and she says more prosecutions are on the way. Molly?
Garrett.
Now, you know, the crazy thing about it is that lady said, well, we investigated these. So you got a state GOP rep saying, hey, we went in. Now, I want you to understand something. Just because a person's a Republican inside of a state like a Minnesota or Illinois, a lot of times those people are Republicans only because of the game, but their mentality and ideology is fairly similar. Now, you're within the state government, which means 9 times out of 10, you have a bipartisan body. And then they say, you know what? We're going to do some investigations of the daycare centers. As if one of these left-wing radicals doesn't walk right out of that meeting, make a phone call. If you're enjoying this video.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Brian Maxwell, man. That's the show for today, man. Just wanted to, talk about this whole big story on all the fraud, waste, and abuse that's been going on in Minnesota, particularly. But, bro, this stuff is going on everywhere, bro. The government itself has so much fraud within it, bro. A lot of these departments is garbage. They're not doing anything for the American people, bro. The problem isn't capitalism. The problem isn't um the problem is greed. That's the real problem to a lot of the shit that's going on in the government. Is greed. Is that people choose the love of money over actual kids getting education in America, over actually cleaning up the streets and getting rid of homelessness and things like that. They care about the money. All of these drugs that come in from all of these different countries or whatever the case may be, this stuff has been allowed to come in for years, especially in the black communities. It's been allowed to come in. That was a whole psyop back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. That was allowed to come in. But now it's worldwide and it's not just in the black neighborhoods anymore. So this is becoming a epidemic with the drugs and all of that shit. It's not just touching black homes. This is going in everybody's home. So people are really seeing like what's happening. Greed is the destruction. It's not capitalism, bro. Capitalism works. We see it work. People, you work, you save your money. You could be an entrepreneur in America, bro. You could be an entrepreneur, a business owner. Like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to take work though, and you got to know what you're doing. But at the same time, it's like I said, bro. It's not capitalism, bro. They want to blame capitalism for it. No, it's greed, bro. It's greed. That's why they putting all these chemicals, in the food and doing all this bioengineering shit that's going on. It's greed. It's greed. How can I make a similar product but make it you know 2 times less the cost and it's just greed. That's it. Greed. If everything was based off of just pure capitalism and people were out here putting out good products and putting out good food and everything like that, America would be the best country. The facts of the matter is there is countries that's smaller than America, might not be a big of a superpower as America, but when it comes to the people, the food, a lot of things that's going on in certain countries, it's better. The quality is better. You know what I'm saying? But America could be the best country if we, get rid of a lot of the bullshit that's going on. And it seems like Trump is trying to do that. You got RFK in there getting rid of a lot of this stuff that they putting in the foods and things like that, which need to happen. How are we the best country, but we the most obese country? How are we the best country when we're the dumbest country? You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't even add up. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the statistics when it comes to a lot of shit, America is not in the forefront of a lot of it. And it's because we don't prioritize education, we don't prioritize innovation, engineering, all of these things that like China and them prioritize. We don't prioritize that shit here. We prioritize a lot of garbage, bro. I'm being honest. And then we get garbage results. You know what I'm saying? And it's greed. All of these politicians, like I said, I believe I say half of them at least come into the political space really wanting to change their community and all of this good shit. But then once they get in, they realize, then they see the amount of money that they can get and they get compromised. It's greed. I always tell people, bro, it's not money isn't the root of all evil. It's the love of the money. It's the love of the money. People love money so much that they're willing to do anything. They don't care. It doesn't matter if it costs lives or not. People just don't care, man. But anyway, man, that's the show for today. If you fuck with the show, make sure you hit that like button, share the video, also comment. But more importantly, subscribe to the channel. Also, hit Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.